MegaPodTastic.
Good morning, MegaPodlings. It's Crazy Joe back at the AMC. We are here tonight to see Candyman, or Candyman 4, as it actually should be called. This is a canonical sequel to the first three Candyman movies, despite the fact that they are doing the annoying thing where you just give it the same title as the original film. But it is a sequel, and in fact, here's the poster. There you go. Say it. Candyman. I'm excited. Tony Todd is back reprising his role as Candyman from the first three movies. And I'm looking forward to this one. I gotta stop. I gotta put my mask on. Then we're going inside. Wrong door. Here we go. Got my refillable bucket with me. And we're going into the Premier Priority Lane. Although, frankly, tonight, the regular lane seems like it would be the better choice. There's actually less people in the regular lane than the priority lane. Go figure. We're in Theater 2. Saw Candyman, and I like this movie. It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. It's the best sequel we've ever had to the original Candyman, which isn't saying much, because Candyman 2, Farewell to the Flesh, and Candyman 3, Day of the Dead, really aren't that good. So maybe that's faint praise, saying this is the best sequel to Candyman, but it's the best sequel to Candyman. The original Candyman, which I have right here, is still the best. This new film is the fourth film in the franchise. It's canonically the fourth film. It actually references the past events. So this is not a reboot, despite the fact that it holds the same title as the original film. The old one's called Candyman. The new one's called Candyman. No number, no subtitle, just Candyman, which is becoming a very, very annoying trend in recent years with sequels, like the sequel to Flatliners a couple years ago was just called Flatliners. The prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing a couple years ago was called The Thing. A couple years back, we had this Halloween movie, which was the 9th Halloween film in the original franchise. I say the original franchise because the Rob Zombie films were separate. They weren't their own thing. So this is the 9th Halloween movie in that John Carpenter series of films, yet it was called Halloween, same as the original. We had the third in the year 2000, the third sequel to the movie Shaft. It was called Shaft. Then maybe 2 years ago, we had the fourth sequel to the movie Shaft, and it was called Shaft. I really think, and then now Scream 5's coming out, and it's called Scream. I really think this is a terrible trend. It's got to end. I don't like it at all. But this new Candyman movie is really solid film. It definitely subverted my expectations. I went in expecting one thing. I didn't get what I expected. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's probably a positive, because I kind of did get what I expected in Candyman 2 and 3, and they're not very good. But Candyman 3 or Candyman 4 gives you something very different that from what you're probably expecting. They do reference the first film, and then it kind of goes off its own path, and you start wondering, wait a minute, where are they going with this? If this is a sequel to the original, how come we have what appear to be contradictions? I'm not going to say what those contradictions are. I don't want to give spoilers. But it does appear to contradict the first film. And you start saying, this is a sequel, and you've referenced the first film. How come this doesn't jive with what we know? And you'll get answers to that. And the answers are pretty clever. And it takes you in directions that really reference current events and have something to say about the state of the world. And specifically, I'd say the Black Lives Matter movement. You have some commentary on that, and a lot of things that are important in the world today, which maybe we should have expected, because it's Jordan Peele is the producer of this film, and we all saw what he did with Get Out and Us. So he's definitely a guy who knows how to craft a horror film, but also have something to say. Now, he didn't direct the film, but he is behind the film. So there you go. And this movie is about a young artist who is kind of an up-and-comer. He's living in a very, very kind of ritzy neighborhood that used to be a slum. It's the old Cabrini Green projects where the original Candyman took place. He's living there. They've since been torn down, rebuilt, and it's a very up-and-coming neighborhood now, kind of ritzy, young artsy types. We've all seen that. We've all seen it happen. These areas that are kind of run down and everything, then suddenly they get a makeover and all these new restaurants come in, and then the young hip people move in, and it's one of those situations. But he learns the story of Candyman from a local laundromat owner, and it inspires him to put Candyman in his art, and that's kind of the springboard for the story. And yeah, again, I don't want to give spoilers, but we do get a point where he learns what came before, and it doesn't quite mesh with what we know from this, despite there being so many direct references to this, including references to the Helen Lyle character played by Virginia Madsen in this film, and her story in this film, all referenced. So you're like, wait a minute, you're referencing the first film, but then you're kind of contradicting the first film too. It does eventually all make sense, but at first it's a little off-putting, because you're like, what are you doing? This doesn't jive with continuity. And the movie is smarter than you think it is. So I like this movie. I think this is a good movie. I'm definitely giving this a recommendation. It is my second favorite Candyman movie. The original is still the best, but I do recommend this Candyman movie. Just leave your expectations at the door, because this is a film that's going to subvert your expectations. If you go in expecting one kind of thing, you might be disappointed. But unless if you're expecting the kind of thing they gave you, because if you're expecting the kind of thing that it is, you're going to get it. But that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting something that plays out very much like the first film, the second film, and the third film. Like, I thought we were going to see a typical Candyman movie, but this is a movie that's a little more clever than that, and that's like I said, that's probably for the best, because Candyman Farewell to the Flesh and Candyman Day of the Dead, not great films. I never even made it all the way through Candyman Day of the Dead, and I love the first movie. I haven't ever sat through the third film in its entirety. I've tried more than once, and it's always one of those movies that's so bad I tap out at a certain point. But this fourth one kept me interested from start to finish. It's playing in theaters now. It's only in theaters. It's not streaming. Go out to a theater, check it out. If you're a fan of the original Candyman, you'll probably be happy you did. And I give this film a big high five. Everybody, keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. People call them PJs, but people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander pajamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.